So, going back to the point. Oh, sorry.
Turned into a lecture.
Yeah, it could be turned into a lecture because at the end of the day, we all wanted to learn at certain point. I might learn something from you, you might learn something from me. So at the end of the day, we wanted to learn, we wanted to find the truth. So that's why when you mention about if the universe keep contracting, keep expanding, etc., that means to infinite number of times, that means we'll be not existed at this point. That's what he was saying. So because infinite number, it doesn't exist in the real mathematics, as simple as that. So that's why when we are using this argument, it doesn't work like this. So you say, so they have to have an initial point that this universe was initiated. Even with the theory that you mentioned, there should be an initial point. The first expansion, there should be a starting point. So if there is a starting point, which is we cannot assume there is, that's normal. Yeah. So that's why we cannot assume there is an infinite number of events that happen before we exist. So they have to have, there should be an initial point that everything started. Do we agree on this?
Yes, but I don't believe that God started it.
Let alone what started it. So do you agree there is an initial point?
I guess, or it could just be infinite. Or
So again,
it just continues.
so we could assume there is a dragon, flying around. The assumption, it doesn't bring the reality. So when we say,
do you mind not filming me?
you're not filming, please, just go. Yeah. So again, we could argue a lot of things. We could assume things. It doesn't matter what we assume. It matters the reality, the real life example. So before we come to the point that there is the existence of God or not, we have to bring the point that this universe has an initial point, that the thing starts, the thing evolves from an initial point. That initial point, how did it exist? How did it start? Now, did it start by itself? Where that energy was before it was there? And did it create itself by itself? And if we assume that it created itself by itself, that means it has to exist before the existence. Like to say, I give birth to myself. So how can I give birth before I was born? I should exist before I existed. Yeah? That means it's not logic. So that's why we cannot assume that this universe initiated itself by itself, because it has to pre-exist before it exists. You agree? That's totally illogical thing.
But how do we know that this is the first universe? How can't this be the 13th billion, 13th million, 13th whatever?
Let's assume, but there should, okay.
So what's...
There should be a fixed number, yeah?
There should be a fixed number because it's infinite.
No,
There's no such thing.
There is no such infinite. So you say there is no such thing called infinite. There should be a limited number, yeah?
No, because it's infinite. You said infinite.
We said infinite doesn't exist. We said infinite doesn't exist in real life.
So you said infinite because we made that in our brains. How can it not be something that we possibly can't comprehend?
Yeah, we could assume whatever we want. It doesn't matter what we assume. The reality, it proves against that. That's why when we are talking about the real life, infinity doesn't exist in real life. It doesn't exist in real mathematics.
It doesn't exist in real
When we
life
are
because you said
when we are dealing when we are dealing with mathematics, infinity doesn't
That's
exist.
mathematics, it's not science.
Okay. Even in science, infinity doesn't exist in real life, because even the atom numbers of the whole universe, it is counted as fixed number. You could whatever you could give number, but there should be a limited number. It has to be a finite number to start the universe.
Why does it have to be a finite
Okay,
number?
because when if you studied maths, yes?
Yes.
So when you study maths, how we use the argument of maths in mathematics, we will assume the theory, and then we'll disprove the counterexample. So I assume, let's say, my assumption, my theory, there should be a finite number.
Okay.
So let's assume the opposite to that. Let's use that there should be an infinite number, which is what your assumption. This infinite number doesn't exist in real life. It doesn't exist in real maths. So that's why you cannot say, I have did the statistics to infinite number of people, and I have done that. Anyone who works in the statistics is going to throw this, from the window. They're going to say,
what about pi? Pi continues on for like millions of little points.
Okay.
How can you explain that?
so it will end.
How does pi end though? No
Okay.
one's ever found an end to pi.
The point is, when we are using when we are using, you use the infinite number, and I'm saying to you, in the infinite number doesn't exist in real maths. Infinite number.
Pi disproves that.
What?
Pi
No,
disproves
it
that.
doesn't disprove it.
Have
It
you
actually,
found an pi?
many
Have
of
you
the
found an
scholars,
pi?
many of the scholars, but many of the scholars, again, many of the scholars, they reach to a point. They said that it has to reach a point because there should be an end point.
Why
Because
haven't they found a point then?
we are using, they have found, some of them they found.
They haven't.
Some of them.
Why does this prove that there's a creator then?
Yeah,
Okay, now let's talk about the creator now. So we said there should be an initial point. There should be an initial point to this universe.
Does that make it a god?
Okay, now we'll come to the point. What's that link to the God? Now, if there is an initial point that this universe is initiated, and all the scholars of cosmology, they said there is an initial point to this universe. None of them they said what you brought. All of them they said there is an initial point.
Yeah, but they don't know. Of course, it could have.
Okay,
Some person have said that.
could be whatever. Could be dragon, whatever.
Yeah.
You could say whatever. It doesn't matter what the people they could. Could be a monkey standing there, whatever. People they say this. These are theories.
Yeah.
That's not true.
So it's
How we know? We will.
What came before God though?
Okay. Now we'll come to this. Now we need to know that the initial point. We will come to the point. Yeah.
We did. We came here to take pictures.
I'm trying to break. So the initiator of this universe, it has to have three main characteristics.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, three main characteristics. Yeah, and that's logical characteristics. Yeah. Firstly, it has to be all powerful to create this universe.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It cannot. Why? It cannot be weak. Otherwise, what kind of a weak entity will create something so powerful? The second thing, it has to be very intelligent to create this sophisticated universe. And even the things that within our organs, the way that our organs works is so sophisticated, it cannot be done by chance. That's the second thing. Thirdly, yeah. So when I'm talking about intelligent, means that include wisdom behind things. And thirdly, it has to have a will to initiate things or not to initiate. Meaning, there is no, as you mentioned, why there is no the creator of the creator. That means it doesn't have a will. It has to seek the permission of its creator. And then if there is the permission of the creator, then I will say another argument. Then they have to be what's the creator of the creator. And then it will go all the way back until infinity, which it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why there should be an initial point.
Where did the creator come from?
Okay, where did the creator come from? Now, for us as a human being, you mentioned, okay, I don't know. You mentioned about how the universe was created. You don't know. Now, where the creator came from, we should be questioning why we are here. Why we are created.
Why we're here, though? Why can't we just be here?
Okay,
Why do we
we
need
be
to
here.
put a label to it? or
Can't we
anything like
ask
that?
two questions at once? Why are we here, and also where did the creator come from?
Okay, let's say if we ask the question, where the creator came from. Now we'll answer. The question is, we don't know. We don't know that the creator was always there. Because the creator of this universe, it should be, as we mentioned, the three characteristics. It has to be very powerful, yeah? It has to be very powerful, it has to be very intelligent and wise, and as well it has to have a will. So, and due to this, that is not bounded, is not limited with time and space.
it's
So that's why
infinite.
it's outside the time.
So you're
We
saying
cannot,
that's
we don't know.
infinity, but you don't
We
believe
cannot
in-
comprehend.
See, so you don't
We cannot comprehend. That's why the scholars of philosophy, brother, let's just finish this. That's why the scholars of philosophy they said they call it the unmoved mover. That's why the one who moves everything,
But that doesn't mean
and it
that's
doesn't
proof.
mean
That just means people are saying things about something we don't have an answer to.
the same argument goes to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got it.
It's our argument
Yeah.
like that, so why can't we
The
go
same
in
argument.
circles?
No.
You said that our argument's wrong because infinity doesn't
Now-
exist, and then you named a god. that's
Now we
infinite.
mentioned before. Let's now here what we said here. If we exist in this, here, that means there is. And the scholars of cosmology, they mention, and not just only me or someone, we're talking about scholars of cosmology. They said that the universe has a starting point. So since it has a starting point, who initiated the starting point? Now you mention, okay, what about this starting point? Why there has to be the creator? Where this creator does it have a starting point itself? Then I will bring another argument. This creator could have another creator that has starting it, and then we'll go back to another one all the way to infinity, and then the infinity doesn't exist. That's why we go back to a point. it has logically to go back to a point. There is a point that the one who moves everything to exist, and this entity doesn't have to be moved by anything.
Okay, but then, so you come to that point because infinity is not real, right? But then you're describing a person who is
Not, I didn't say a person. Did I say a person?
Sorry. You're describing a starting point that is infinite. Because
I didn't say infinite. I didn't say
you
infinite.
said that you
I said
said-
it's not bounded with time and space.
not bounded with time and space is infinite.
Not bounded with time.
Not bounded with
We
time
cannot,
is infinite.
again, that we're talking about our real life, our universe.
But you're
Beyond,
describing your own point.
beyond our universe, we cannot comprehend beyond our universe. But we comprehend which is within our universe. Beyond our universe, we cannot comprehend. Within our universe is limited with time and space. Our universe, the universe that we exist in, it's limited with time and space. Beyond our universe, we cannot comprehend. Now, that's why we said this universe, it has a start. Since we said that the universe has a starting point, this starting point, it has to start by an entity that's all powerful to create things, all wise and intelligent to bring things, to create things that were sophisticated as the such universe. Okay, I will give you an example. Now I would say to you, when you wanted to make a surgery, yeah, for example, if you need, God forbid, let's say, if there is wanted to make a surgery, do you go to a specialist or do you go to a random person on the street? They say, can you make appendix surgery for me? You will go to a specialist. Yeah. Why do you go there?
Because they train for it.
Because
they
they
went to
have-
university.
They have the what?
degree.
They have practice, they have knowledge.
They have the knowledge. Yeah. So they have the knowledge to do something. But how come to do something which is you believe that came by chance? It wasn't sophisticated. You want someone with knowledge to practice with his knowledge or her knowledge to do so, to operate on you, and you need this person to know how sophisticated your body is when making the surgery. Where you assume that your body is not sophisticated even in the beginning.
That doesn't prove there's a God, that proves there's nature.
So that proves what?
That proves there's nature.
Oh, so the nature is intelligent. Is the nature intelligent to create things?
No, nature
So it's not
just-
intelligent.
Things just live. Things wouldn't live if they didn't work. That's why it's sophisticated.
So the nature is the nature intelligent or not?
Nature isn't a person. It doesn't.
So it's not intelligent. There is no intelligence. So it's chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So things happens by chance.
Yes.
So that's why the way that your body came into existence by chance.
Yeah.
So that's how you believe.
Well, that's what natural.
It's serious. That's how you believe.
That's how.
Okay.
Can I speak? That's how natural selection happens. Things die if they're not made sophisticated.
Natural selection is a theory which they
So
believe.
is your
And
body.
again, okay, one second. You need to prove your theory.
You need to prove yours.
Okay, I'm trying. I'm saying
lecturing us.
I'm saying this to you that the theory of the natural selection is literally void by itself. Now, to say natural selection, now when you say that our body, for example, the cells came together and they get together and they start working together, and then they initiated a brain that controls the body the way that it is, and this is natural selection.
No, I'm saying things die when they don't work. That's natural selection.
No. Let's say your body. How your body came into existence.
Well, we have no evidence of that, but except
So
for
that's why.
evolution.
So again, the evolution goes back.
Evolution has evidence.
Again, no, evolution doesn't have evidence. Evolution doesn't have evidence. Evolution, they use some theories. The people, they didn't go there. The people were not there when the things